Hello everyone. Today I'm here with you with my new topic in this video, that is growth and development in children, which is very important to all of you from the point of view of theory exams or from the point of view of your OPD purpose. Right? Whenever a parent comes to us, he asks whether a baby is our baby is weak and he's not growing well. It is not by the it is by the perspective of their parents. Being a physician, you should know whether a baby is properly grown or is there some deficiency, right? So for that you should be very much aware of growth and development in a child. So what is growth and development? Let's see. First of all, you should know what is growth. Growth is said whenever there is change in size, change in dimensions of the body, whenever there is multiplication of cells. It is said growth. For example, a small plant grows into a big tree. That is growth. A small baby grows into an adult. That is growth. Okay? So this is how we define growth, and growth is measurable. As it is change in size, change in dimensions, we can measure growth, right? So when small thing is converting into a large thing, we can measure it. Uh, uh, Lightweight thing is increasing into a heavyweight thing, we can measure it. Why not? We can measure it, right? We have measurements for that. According to different writers, according to Herlock, growth is change in size in proportion and disappearance of old features and acquisition of the new ones. When we acquire some new functions, then the new features, that is growth. According to Crow and Crow, growth refers to the structural and physiological changes. So whenever there is structure change occurs because of differentiation of cells, right? Or a change in the size of the cell, then only structural change occurs, and it will lead to physiological changes as well. So whenever there is a change in structural and physiological changes, then it is termed as growth. Moving to development, what is development then? Development is something when we acquire skill, when we acquire some function with our maturation, with our continuous practice, right? Like I am practicing on typing on laptop. When I begin with typing, I may not do good in that, but later on it improves. That is developing. I developed that skill. I developed a skill of driving. I developed skill of writing. Right? Same is the case with humans. From the very time of their birth, they learn to crawl, they learn to walk, they learn to run, they learn to speak, they learn to write. This is all development. This is developed with time. If you stop teaching your kid about writing, that how to write, then he will not be able to write. Definitely he will suffer in that thing. So development is something which is acquired with time, which can be acquired with proper practice, and it is something which is related to our skill, and it is individualistic. It Development varies from individual to individual. So is the definition given by Herlock. He says that progressive changes that occur in an orderly, predictable pattern as a result of maturation of experience. He said very beautifully, each and every word is very nice, which he said. He said the progressive changes. It is progressive. We always progress when it comes to development, right? So it is progressive change that occurs in an orderly manner. It is orderly. It follows a specific order. Like a baby first learns to crawl, then he learns to stand, then he learns to run. This is an order, and it is like this always. It is predictable. You can predict development. You can say that baby who is not speaking at the age of 6 months will speak at the age of 1 month or 1 year or 2 years. This is predictable pattern as a result of maturation of experience. It is all about experience, all about maturing with time, learning with time. Okay, moving on. What are the factors that affect growth? There are some factors which do affect our growth. I have divided these factors into these 6 categories as per convenience for easy understanding. First of all, there are genetic factors, right? So talking about genetic factors, parental traits. The traits which we take from our parents, we will be like that only. Our parents, if they are tall, child will be tall. If parent is tall, child will be tall. Okay. If parent is stunted, child will be stunted. This is something which we inherit from our parents. Second is chromosomal disorders. Sometimes some chromosomal disorders occur like Prader-Willi syndrome, Nuna syndrome. All these chromosomal abnormalities or gene mutations result in growth restriction. Right? Then we add maternal factors. Maternal factors like maternal diet, whether mother is properly nourished or not. If she is not nourished, fetus will not also be nourished. Age of the mother, is it a very early pregnancy or it is late pregnancy, right? Anemia of the mother. If mother is anemic, so will be the child will also be deprived. Number of pregnancies, how many pregnancies mother has. A mother can give birth to 2 healthy babies, but when she is giving birth to 7 or 8 babies, they may not be that healthy as compared to those two. Any obstetric complications and any kind of diseases. If mother is suffering from some kind of disease, then it will also be reflected in the child. Hormonal factors, fetal hormones like thyroxine and glucocorticoids. This thyroxine helps in the differentiation of cells, accretion of the cells, so it will help in the development of the body, growth of the body. Fetal growth hormones, these also help in the differentiation of the cells, right? So hormones also play a very vital role during fetal life, especially uh, for the growth. Simply growth hormone with which we grow after birth, which is secreted by our hypothalamus, so pituitary gland. So growth hormones are also responsible for growth of the child. If there is lack, child will not have to be good height. Talking about nutrition, if baby is deprived of its daily nourishment, if it is not having proper protein, proper carbohydrates, it may lead to protein energy malnutrition, and so is the weakness, so is the wasting of muscles. Anemia can also lead to this thing. Vitamin deficiencies can lead to growth deprivation. Then about infection. Tooth disease is very important to remember that if there are recurrent infections in a child will be uh, uh, will suffer from growth problems, right? So persistent or recurrent diarrhea, and second is recurrent respiratory tract infection. These two things lead to growth restriction in a child. Growth will be compromised in that child. And third very important is parasitic infection. Parasites in gut do not let the baby grow. Baby cannot grow with parasites, right? So these things should be managed, should be checked in a growth deprived baby in which the growth is compromised. Moving to social factors, very important, which are generally left out. Social factors like poverty, climate, emotional factors, culture of that family, and education. Poverty means uh, family which is economically weak. Of course, that family will not be able to give proper fruits, proper diets, or maybe complete diets to the child. Maybe there are some skipping of diets, right? Talking about emotional factors, sometimes because of working mothers and working parents, both parents are working. In those cases, uh, there is less bond between baby and the parents. There is emotionally they are not that much attached because of lack of attention to the child in some cases, right? I'm talking of some cases, not everyone. So in those cases child do suffer mental sickness and they are deprived of proper growth. Education of the patient, proper education is must. An educated parent can easily realize whether the baby is having proper diet or not and when to seek a doctor, which is not the case of with uneducated persons. Uneducated uh, ignore these things, right? Now coming to what are the theories of development. Very important, there are 9 theories, 9 principles of development. First is the principle of individuality. Principle of individuality means whatever the development is taking place, howsoever the baby is growing, they are growing individually. There is individual growth pattern of every child. Like because every child is grown up with different sources, different kind of upbringing pattern, different kind of environment inside the house, right? Different place, different culture. So they will be developed individually. They have individual development process, right? No child. This is not that If one person is growing in this way, then the second will also grow in this way, and in this way all humans will be of same kind, right? But there is difference between each one of us. Some people understand things early, some understand late. This is their individuality. This is not their shortcoming. This is their individuality, right? Principle of continuity. Development is a continuous process. We start developing from the age, from very time from our birth till our death. We learn every day. There's not even a single day when we don't learn anything. Maybe it is a small thing, small little quality or something big, but we learn every day. It is never ending. It is always there until we are there. Okay, so principle of continuity is there. We do uh, uh, something when, for example, if I'm learning to drive, I will learn until I become perfect in that, right? So we daily we do something which is productive, and which is something which improves our skills, right? Whether it is mentally or whether it is physical skill. Okay, third is principle of uniform pattern. Pattern of development is uniform throughout the world, irrespective of caste, irrespective of person, irrespective of breed, irrespective of race. Everyone is growing in the same uniform pattern. Everyone during the early phase, they are newborns, then they develop into toddlers, then they develop into adolescents, then into adults, then into old age. This pattern is uniform throughout the world. Not only this is not present only in India. Even Americans grow like this. It is not that Americans were born as a newborn and develop as a adult. They also grow like this, right? There is nothing different all over the world. We have a uniform pattern of development, right? Principle of modifying ability. Fourth is the principle of modifying ability, means we can modify the development process either by education or by proper counseling. Like for example, there are two kids, right? One is going to school, other is not going to school. One is educated, other is not educated. There will be different kind of development in both the kids, right? But yes, if we put the uneducated child inside the school, maybe he improve. We can give direction to his development, right? So development is something that can be changed, that we can give direction, that can be directional. So we can give direction to development. We can modify development through education, right? Fifth is the principle of predictability. Development is predictable process. As it follows a uniform pattern, you can predict that you are a newborn, one day you will grow into adult. This is predictable. He will definitely grow into adult if everything remains good within his life. So this is predictable. Even you can predict a baby who is crawling now, he will start walking after a few days, after a month or two. Okay, this is predictable. Principle of integration means there is coordination between body, mind, and our activities parts, right? Whenever we do something, there is coordination between our brain, between our eyes, and our muscles, right? This integration is must. If there is problem at any one of the levels, then there occurs improper development. If some person is mentally sick, he will not have proper motor actions, right? He cannot coordinate properly, right? So there is principle of integration during development process. Principle of spiral advancement. It is said that development is a spiral process, like a spiral thread, right? Means there are some days when we grow exponentially, when we develop exponentially ourselves, and there are some days when we do nothing. Then this graph falls down, but still we are doing something, and then again we feel energized, we again do something great, and then again rise and again fall. This is a continuous process. For example, like your studies, during your exam time you study a lot, there is exponential development at that time. During your when exams ends, then you take a full rest and go into chill time, right? At that time you are not developing. You are just enjoying and relaxing. At that time your graph just falls. Suddenly you wake up and again start working or doing something else. No, I am sitting like this doing nothing. I will do this now. I will go to gym, I will walk, I will read a novel, I'm going to do something else, right? Learn something else. So this is development. So development is a spiral advancement. Principle of interaction of hereditary and environment. There is hereditary environmental interaction between our development. Whatever there is in parents, it exists in us, right? This is hereditary. And environment, in what kind of environment we live, we have that properties in us, right? If we are living in a bad environment, we will be somewhere bad. If we are living in a good environment, hope so we will grow good, right? Then principle of cumulative development. Development is a cumulative process. Means it is not that suddenly we grow from a kid to an adult. It follows a set pattern. It follows a set cumulative process, and we have to follow that only. Being a kid, we cannot grow into adult. Being a kid, we can only grow into being a newborn, we can grow into a toddler, then into adults. It is not directly adolescent or directly getting old, right? So it is a cumulative development. So theory of this continuity and principle of sequentiality. It is said that growth is cephalocaudal or from proximal to distal. Means whenever we grow from head to toe. Whenever we grow from head to toe, right? Like for example, a baby who is born, he first of all he learns to hold his neck. Then he learns to move his arms, then his hands, then he learns to crawl with the help of his knees and thighs, then he learns to stand with his feet, right? So it is cephalocaudal. It is not that first baby learns to run, then he start holding his head. Right? It never happens. It is always cephalocaudal, right, to balance the body properly. And second thing, development is always from inside to out to body parts. Right? So first of all, baby learns to move his hands properly, then he learns to grasp, right, from with his full hand, then he learns to use his fingers, right? It is going from proximal to distal, and whatever the growth is, growth has a uniform pattern, continuity. We always grow. Learn to sit, learn to stand, learn to walk. This is a continuous process. We can predict this. Moving to how do we assess growth? How do we assess physical growth? Anthro means man and pometry means measure. And the measurement of the human is termed as anthropometry. Right? And we have 6 factors with which we measure growth of a person, that is weight, height, body circumference, skin fold thickness, body proportions, and velocity of growth. In case of weight, we can measure the weight with a weighing machine. In case of height, we can measure the height of a baby. 2 years old child, we can measure it with stadiometer, 2 or more than 2 years. But in case of smaller babies, we measure the length, right, on infantometer. We make the baby lie on infantometer and measure it. So as we are taking the height of a child in a lying position, it is termed as length of the child. Body circumference in the form of head circumference, mid-arm circumference, arm span, we can say skin fold thickness, body proportion in the form of BMI and sitting height. All these things are used to assess the growth of individual. Head circumference. Now talking about head circumference is counted until the age of 6 years of age. After that we don't go for it. Head circumference and usually is measured when we use inch tape in this process, and on posterior side there is occipital protuberance under the inch tape, and on frontal side we use supraorbital ridge as our marking, right? And head circumference is generally seen to rule out many disorders during the development process of a child. So head circumference is must to count. Moving to CC's chest circumference. It is measured at the level of nipples. So at birth, Head circumference is more than chest circumference. It is always 2 to 3 centimeter more than chest circumference at birth. But later on they become equal at 1 year of age, and later on chest circumference increases but head circumference remains same. So growth restricts at that level. Mid upper arm circumference is taken in the babies of 6 months to 5 years of age, and it is measured from the acromion process over here and olecranon process at the elbow region. We draw a line from here to here. We draw a line, then we mark the midpoint of this line. At that midpoint, we place the inch tape and count the circumference of that arm. Right? We count the circumference of that arm. So in this way, we can calculate the circumference, head circumference, chest circumference, mid upper arm circumference. So is the abdominal circumference. So is the mid thigh circumference. And less than 12.5 centimeter of mid upper arm circumference indicates malnutrition. The baby is malnourished. Arm span. What is arm span? It is compared with length or height. It is compared. How we calculate arm span? We extend the arms of the baby and use tip of the middle finger as our 2 points. And we calculate the length from this middle finger to this middle finger while extending the arms. This whole length is then compared with the height or length of the baby, and arm span should be less than 2.5 centimeter, and it equals the height at 11 years of age. This is the normal about arm span. Then talking about one is Bangle test. What is this Bangle test? It is used in counting mid upper arm circumference. So in this 2.5 centimeter radius, this bangle is taken and it is put inside the arm. If it goes up and fits over here, it means it is normal, and if it moves freely, then it means baby is nourished. Then is what is BMI? BMI means body mass index, and it is counted by weight in kgs upon height in meters square. And normal BMI is 18.5 to 23, and this is the respective BMI given and the terms given according to this. More than 28 is termed obesity. Sitting height is calculated by making the baby to sit on a platform, and height is calculated from head to the pelvic region. Right, that is the sitting height, and this height is called upper segment length, and the lower segment is calculated by by subtracting the height, sitting height from the complete height of the baby or length of the baby. Right? So we get the lower segment length. So upper segment is to lower segment ratio should be proper. In case of babies who are just born, newborns, the upper segment to lower segment ratio is 1.7, and it decreases with time, you can see. And in adults it is 0.9, upper segment to lower segment ratio. Moving on now, the growth pattern, normal growth at birth. What are the normal milestones which should be present in a newborn? At birth weight should be 2.8 to 2.9 kg, length should be 50 centimeter, head circumference should be 37 centimeter, and upper segment to lower segment ratio should be between 1.7. These are some parameters which are used to assess whether the growth is less or growth is more. Right? So this is the range given. In infancy period, weight decreases to 10% of the birth weight after a few days of birth, right? And baby regains birth weight by the age of 10 days. Right? This is normal. Babies sometimes lose their weight because of evaporation in the air, because firstly they are present in the womb of the mother, but later on they are exposed to environment. They do lose some of the fluid in the form by evaporation, so they do lose some kind of weight, almost 10%, which is normal. Birth weight is calculated. This is a simple funda given over here, like birth weight is 2.5 to 3 kg. At 5 months there is doubling of birth weight. At 1 year birth weight triples. At 2 years it quadruples. Right? So whatever the birth weight, at 5 months it doubles. And here's a growth velocity. This is the respective growth velocity followed in particular months, that a baby gains this much of weight within this month, by this month. So This is the growth velocity and should be followed by the child. And if growth velocity is slow, we go for other kind of things. Right? Here is the formula for calculating the birth weight in infants, that is age in years plus 3 into 2. For example, if the age of the baby is 2 years, we put 2 over here, 2 years plus 3, right? Plus 3. If the weight is, if the age is 2 years, then 3 plus 2 means 3 plus 2 is 5, and the weight is 5 into 2 is 10, right? 5 into 2 is 10. So a baby of the age of 2 years should have a weight of around 10 kg. Okay, should have a weight of around 10 kg. Alright, so this is a simple formula for calculating weight. Moving to the length. Linear growth in first 2 years of life is present, and after that for length. But in case of head, it is a parallel type of growth. At birth, length of the baby is around 50 centimeter, which grows with time, and in 1 year it comes to 75 centimeter. Head growth in first 3 months it is 5 to 6 centimeter increase. In next 9 months it is 5 to 6 centimeter increase. In 1 year it comes to 45 to 47 centimeters. But sometimes there is a drastic increase in the circumference of the head. If there is increase 1 centimeter in every fortnight for first 3 months, then it is termed as hydrocephalus. This is the picture of the baby showing hydrocephalus, change in the head size. Chest circumference is 2 to 3 centimeter less than head circumference, and head circumference equalizes by the year of 1 year. Head and chest circumference equalize when the baby is around 1 year. Otherwise, head circumference is always more than chest circumference. Moving to after infancy, there are some formulas given according to age for the calculation of weight, and we have to remember all these formulas, learn them, cram them out, and we should always know this, that weight acceleration occurs earlier in girls and 2 years late in boys. Girls mature early than boys. Stature at 2 years, the height of the baby is around 90 centimeters and becomes 100 centimeters in 4 years, which is the double of birth. Height triples in 13 years. Here is the formula given for calculating height. This is important. Age in years into 6 plus 77. Head circumference increases 1 centimeter per year from the age of 2 to 5 years, and at 12 years it becomes 52 centimeters. Meter per arm circumference in newborn is 9 to 11 centimeters. At 1 year it is 16 centimeters, and it increases 1 centimeter till the age of 5 years. So is the eruption of teeth. There are two kinds of dentition in kids: primary dentition and permanent dentition. And the age of 6 to 7 years is the age of mixed dentition. There are mixed teeth present in the mouth of the baby. And you have to go through these, nothing more important from our point of view. Then moving to development. What is development then? Development is attaining skills. Like here you can see in the picture, baby is learning with time how to stand. So this is development, and it is stepwise. You can predict this thing. Yes, you can predict. So is here, baby is developing skills now. He's playing, holding ball. This is development. He's brushing here, right? This is doing painting. Here also making painting with his hands. This is all skill development. Now, factors which affect development. Same as growth, there are some factors which can affect development. So here are the chromosome abnormalities mainly. They do affect growth and development both. Maternal factors like drug abuse, maternal hypertension, maternal infections like starch, toxoplasmosis rubella, these do affect the development of a child. Hypothyroidism of the mother makes the child mentally deprived. Nutrition of mother affects the child ultimately. Neonatal babies who are at risk during birth, like low birth weight babies, seizures to the child, insult to the brain, these create developmental delays. Social factors like parenting, improper parenting, parents are not much involved with the child, poverty, emotional deprivation, and violence or abuse, very important, which is very common nowadays. These do affect development of a child. We assess the development with some criteria already set by the scientists. Here we are discussing one of them, in which we are discussing development in 4 groups. First is gross motor development, in which there is movement of our large muscles. Here are the various milestones which are attained by a child during different time. Like earlier, when the baby is born, he has head lag. Whenever we pull the baby from arms, he drops his head. He cannot move it with this. Drops his head. That is head lag. But with time, during 3 months, baby starts to know how to hold the neck. Whenever you lift the baby with the arm, he also lifts his head with this. He knows how to lift it. At 5 months, he knows how to roll. At 6 months, sits in tripod position. At 8 months, sits without support. We can write 8 like this. 8 is also sitting, and it has no support. Right? So at 8 months, baby learns to sit without support. Here, baby is already sitting, right? In 9 months, baby learns to stand. Like if 0 is standing, it is standing with the help of this rod. Then it can make 9. Right? So baby learns to stand with support in 9 months, learns to stand without support in 12 months, learns to run or walks alone in 15 months, learns to ride tricycle. Try means 3 in 3 years, hops on 1 foot on 4 years. All these things are development related. Fine motor development. Fine motor development means developing of movements of the small muscles, fine skills, right? Like our hands muscles, right? You can see here the baby has used his both hands to hold a toy. This is when we use our both hands to hold something that is bidextrous reach, and it comes in us by the age of 4 months. On 6 months, baby learns to hold things with one hand. Right? On 12 months, there is pincer grasp, holds the things with his forefinger and thumb, holding them with this. This is pincer grasp. Imitates scribbling, tries to scribble, takes a pen and imitates that. Acts like he's scribbling in the age of 15 months. But he do scribbles by the age of 18 months and makes your walls very colorful and floors also colorful with all sketches and pens. Right? Makes tower of 6 blocks by the age of 2 years, tower of 9 blocks by the age of 3 years, and copies triangle very beautifully. Some child has drawn these by the age of 5 years. Right? So here are some drawing skills according to age. You have to just go through them for a quick review. Then here is the block skill at various ages. Like 15 months, baby knows how to make tower of 2 blocks. At 18 months, tower of 3 blocks. Then 2 years, he makes a train. At 3 years, makes a tower of 9 blocks. You can see at 3 years, he can also make a bridge. At 6 years, makes steps. So these are something skills which he developed with time, learning skills with practice with time. He learns all these things. These are the social and adaptive milestones. Third is social and adaptive milestone. First we discussed gross motor skills, then fine motor skills. Third is social and adaptive milestone. Here you can socially how baby interacts, right, with the people or with family. Baby develops social smile by the age of 2 months. Social smile is whenever you call a child, he smiles at you, whether you are known to him or not. Right? Whether you are close to me or not, whenever you play with him, he smiles at you. That is social smile, and it comes at the age of 2 months. At the age of 3 months, baby recognizes his mother. He can cry for his mother. Right? He's not with his mother, he will cry. Right? He recognizes who is his mother, and whenever he goes into the lap of his mother, he stops crying. At the age of 3 months, he recognizes the touch and recognizes his mother by face. At 6 months, baby has a stranger anxiety. Whenever some stranger person tries to touch him or grab him or hold him, he will be reluctant to that. Right? He will cry or shout or becomes very cranky. So, stranger anxiety. At 9 months, babes bye-bye. At 12 months, plays with ball. At 18 months, he tries to imitate. He copies parents or whoever near to him. Right? He will try to copy you if you are doing something. If you are writing, he will try to write. If you are closing your ears, he will also close your ears. Whatever you do, he will do that. He tries to imitate you in tasks also. Asks for food in toilet by the age of 2 years. He will say, I want to go washroom. I am feeling hungry. He will ask for food in toilet. At age of 3 years, he has the habit of sharing toys, which is very good. At the age of 4 years, baby has the habit of playing in groups. So after this, we send the baby to school so that he can play in groups as comfortable as he can. Then last, language milestones. Language milestone means baby learns to speak. This also occurs with time, develops with time. We sometimes we even make the child practice to speak mama, papa, dada. Right? So first month, baby alerts to sound. Wherever you make some sound, you make some sound with the toy or you ring the bell, baby will turn his head towards the bell only. Then at 4 months he learns to laugh very loudly. At 6 months, at 6 months baby who speaks monosyllables like ma, ma, pa, pa, da, da. Right? He speaks like this. At 9 months, baby speaks bisyllables. Bisyllables mean mama, papa, dada, dadi. All these things a child starts to speak. At the age of 3 years, he knows who is he. He knows his name. He knows his gender, whether that person is a girl or a boy. He knows about himself very much, right? So he has the habit of asking questions: why you are doing this? Why you are doing this? Right? Why you are going over there? He has this habit. Why I am not going over there? If you are going there, right? So many questions. At the age of 4 years, baby can speak so fluently that he can recite poem. He can recite stories at age of 4 years. Okay, then moving to next. So these are the different ways by which we can assess development of a child, whether it is proper development or not. Developmental screening tools are given by different scientists, like one of which we have already discussed in the form of gross, fine, social and adaptive and language milestones. Others are also given like FATEX Baroda screening test, Denver development screening test, Trivandrum developmental screening chart, clinical adaptive test. All these tests can be followed to assess the proper development of a child. You can use them, and these are all given in your books. So I'm not going in detail because these are not that much used by me. Now, interpretation of developmental findings. There are some terms which we use during writing about development. What we understand from those terms is very important, right? Like here, where we have first is global delay. What is global delay then? So global delay is something when there is delay in one or two aspects, like there is delay in gross motor development and fine motor development both, or there is delay in social development and fine motor development both. When there is involved more than one aspect of development, then it is termed as global delay, and it is must to ensure this, because on the basis of this we know where to handle a child, where to rehabilitate the child, whether it can be handled in a school or it can be handled in some rehabilitation center, or we have to do something special for him, right? Go for something special. So that is global delay. Second is isolated delay. Isolated delay is something when development is uh, related to something, one single skill, like skill of walking for example, or skill of speaking. When if a child has tongue tie, for example, if a child has tongue tie is tongue tie, you know. So tongue tie is something when your tongue is attached from this to the lower surface with frenulum, which is normally attached, but sometimes this frenulum is large and tongue cannot be easily protruded out, so we cannot use our tongue properly. So when we cannot use our tongue properly, there will be unclear speech or in some areas. There will be some letters which cannot be spoken easily. So isolated delay is something when there is delay in some one aspect, right? In one thing, like we cannot speak easily because of some anomaly. So that is isolated delay. Or like we cannot walk because of some fracture or some kind of hip dislocation, then it is isolated delay. Third is deviancy. Deviancy is something when we have already discussed that development is a uniform process and it is a continuous process, right? It has a uniformity pattern, but sometimes there occurs deviancy in this process. Sometimes there occurs skipping of some kind of milestone. Like we have said that baby learns to sit, then he learns to crawl, but sometimes baby start crawling directly, they don't learn to sit. Sometimes baby don't crawl, they directly learn to stand and walk. This is something deviancy. It is of no medical significance, but it is a kind of anxiety disorder for parents that our child is not crawling. What do we do? Right? So you should know this, that there sometimes occurs deviancy in the development process. So the next is dissociation. Dissociation is something when there is mm, when in two aspects there is no coordination. Like for example, in a case of autistic children, they develop normally when we talk about the gross motor skills and fine motor skills, but their mental development is delayed. So if some of the aspect is delayed and other is properly going on, then that is termed as dissociation from the normal thing. Like 3 months, in 3 months child should speak something, in 3 months child should have neck holding, but sometimes that speaking is delayed, sometimes neck holding is delayed. So this is something called dissociation. Next is developmental regression. Developmental regression is this when a child loses its already attained developmental milestones. A child who knows how to run suddenly loses his running and comes to sitting. And the main causes of this are CNS deficits, CNS infections, any kind of injury to the head that may lead to developmental regression. Then lack of environmental stimulation. These are some common factors which you already know: poor parent interaction, behavioral disorders, autistic children, learning disabilities like dysgraphia, dyslexia. Child has these things, and all these should also be seen, and you can easily interpret these things if you know these terms, right? Yes, like deviance and dissociation and developmental regression are generally used, and global delay. These are generally used terms when you read down the prescription slip of a doctor. They generally use these terms. So this is all when we talk about growth and development in children. I hope this video could be video is very beneficial for you from your exam point of view, even from knowledge point of view. I hope it will do better uh, and for you guys, and I will also do better in my further videos for you guys. We'll meet soon with a new video that is on COVID-19. I will discuss its epidemiology, its pathogenesis, how it affects our cells, what features develop in our body, what signs and symptoms, and what is the treatment in modern science, and what is the treatment in Ayurveda which we can go for nowadays. See you soon.